She didn't notice until she reached home. The suitcase she grabbed at the airport wasn't hers. But when she opened it, her heart stopped. Inside wasn't clothes or toiletries. It was a leather folder with business contracts worth millions, and a photograph of a man and a young girl smiling together. At that moment, she realized the luggage belonged to someone very important, and that photo would soon change both their lives forever. But what happened when she met the mysterious owner, a powerful CEO, left everyone in tears. Before we dive into this heart-touching story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Hopeful Stories. We bring you emotional tales that remind us how fate can connect strangers in the most unexpected ways. Emily. Heart rushed through the crowded airport. Her flight delayed, her phone dying, and her job interview just hours away. She was exhausted, anxious, and juggling more than she could handle. A single mom trying to restart her life after losing everything in a messy divorce. When she finally reached baggage claim, she grabbed the first black suitcase she saw with a red ribbon tied to the handle, just like hers, and hurried toward the exit without a second thought. It wasn't until she got home, her little apartment dimly lit and her son asleep on the couch, that she realized something was wrong. She unzipped the bag and froze. Inside were expensive suits, a silver watch, and a laptop with a company logo she didn't recognize. Reynard Enterprises. There was also a leather folder filled with legal documents and something that made her chest tighten. A framed photo of a man holding a little girl in front of a playground. Both were smiling so brightly it almost hurt to look at. Emily whispered, "Oh no," as panic set in. She searched through the bag for an ID, eventually finding a business card tucked into the side pocket. It read, Alexander Reynard, CEO, Reynard Enterprises. Her heart dropped. She'd taken a CEO's suitcase. Emily immediately called the number on the card, but it went to voicemail. Her voice trembled as she left a message. "Hello, Mr. Reynard. My name is Emily Hart. I think I accidentally took your luggage at the airport. I'm so sorry. Please call me back." After hanging up, she sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the photo again. The little girl reminded her so much of her own son, Jamie, maybe 6 years old, with the same gap-toothed grin. She smiled sadly, wondering if the man missed his daughter as much as she missed her old life. Hours passed, but there was no response. She didn't know that, at that same moment, Alexander Reynard was sitting in his office, furious and frustrated. His suitcase contained sensitive company documents and a precious photo, the only one he had left of his late daughter, Lily. She had passed away 2 years ago in a car accident, and since then, Alexander had buried himself in work to escape the pain. That suitcase wasn't just luggage. It carried the last pieces of his heart. When his assistant told him the airline couldn't locate it, he clenched his fists, feeling something inside him unravel. "That suitcase is all I have left of her," he said quietly, his voice breaking. The next morning, Emily received a call. "Miss Hart?" A deep, calm voice said on the line. "This is Alexander Reynard. You have my suitcase." "Yes, sir," she said nervously. "I'm so sorry." "I didn't mean to. I understand," he interrupted, though his tone was tight. "Where can we meet?" They agreed to meet that afternoon at a coffee shop near the airport. Emily arrived early, clutching the suitcase with both hands, rehearsing her apology over and over. When the door opened and Alexander walked in, she immediately recognized him tall, composed, but with eyes that looked tired, sad. She stood up quickly. "Mr. Reynard," he held up a hand. "It's all right, may I?" he asked, taking the suitcase. He opened it right there, checking for the photo first. When he saw it still there, untouched, he exhaled deeply and sat down almost in relief. Emily hesitated, unsure if she should speak. "I really am sorry," she said quietly. "I grabbed it by mistake. It looked just like mine." Alexander nodded, his expression softening. "I should have tied a different ribbon." He chuckled faintly, then looked at her. Really looked at her. Her tired eyes, the worn jacket, the faint traces of worry on her face. "You look like you've had a rough day too," she smiled weakly. That's one way to put it. They talked for a few minutes, just polite conversation. But something about Emily's sincerity made Alexander linger. When she mentioned she was heading to an interview that she'd likely missed, his brow furrowed. "What do you do?" he asked. Well, I was an accountant," she said. "I left my old job when my son got sick. I'm just trying to get back on my feet." He nodded slowly, a spark of curiosity and admiration flickering in his eyes. "Sometimes the hardest fights are the ones no one sees," he murmured. They parted ways soon after, but as she walked away, Alexander found himself watching her go, that same photo of Lily still in his hand. For the first time in years, he felt something stir inside him, something he thought he'd buried with his daughter. Days passed, and Emily tried to forget the embarrassing incident, focusing instead on finding work. But every rejection email hurt a little more. Her savings were running out, and Christmas was just weeks away. She wanted to make it special for Jamie, but she didn't even have enough for gifts. Then one afternoon, her phone rang. "Miss Hart?" said a familiar voice. She froze. "Mr. Raynard?" "I have a proposal," he said. "Would you come by my office tomorrow?" Her heart raced. "Of course," she replied. When she arrived the next morning, she was greeted by marble floors and glass walls, the kind of place that screamed success. Alexander met her in the lobby, dressed sharply but smiling this time. "I wanted to thank you," he began. "You could have easily kept that suitcase or the laptop, but you didn't. Integrity like that is rare," she blushed. "It just felt like the right thing to do." He gestured toward his office. "I've been thinking, my company's expanding and we're looking for someone in our accounting division. You mentioned you used to be one." Her mouth fell open. "You're offering me a job?" He smiled. "Let's call it a second chance. For both of us." Tears welled in her eyes. She accepted instantly, her gratitude overflowing. What she didn't know was that Alexander had been searching for meaning again, something beyond work and grief. Helping Emily gave him that purpose. Over the next few months, Emily proved herself invaluable. She worked hard, often staying late, and her warmth brought a new energy to the cold corporate halls. Even the CEO seemed to smile more. Sometimes he'd see her playing with Jamie when she brought him by after school, and he'd feel a pang, not of pain, but of peace. One evening after everyone had left, Alexander found Emily in the office wrapping a small present. "For Jamie?" he asked. She nodded. "Just a little something. He's been through so much, but he still believes every day can be a good one." Alexander smiled faintly. "He sounds a lot like Lily," he said, his voice soft. Emily looked up. "Your daughter?" He nodded, eyes glistening. "She would have been 8 this year." There was silence for a moment, a gentle, understanding silence. Then Emily said quietly, "She'd be proud of you, you know." Alexander blinked back tears. "I hope so." Christmas arrived and the company threw a small party. To Emily's surprise, Alexander handed her an envelope. Inside was a bonus far larger than she'd ever expected, along with a handwritten note. "You reminded me that kindness still exists. Thank you for bringing life back into this place and into me." Emily looked up, eyes full of tears. "I should be the one thanking you. That wrong suitcase was the best mistake of my life." Alexander laughed softly. Maybe fate just has a strange sense of humor. From that day forward, they stayed close, not out of obligation, but out of shared healing. Emily helped Alexander rebuild his life with warmth and laughter, and Alexander helped her build a future for Jamie. And every time someone asked how they met, Alexander would smile and say, "Because of a lost suitcase and a found heart. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel, Hopeful Stories. We share powerful stories that prove even mistakes can lead to miracles, and that sometimes fate knows exactly what it's doing."